Throughout the afternoon, we've seen people come to this movie theater hoping to buy tickets, only to see this sign posted on the window informing them that the movie theater in Chatham has closed. Cedric Mays is a longtime Chatham resident and has been coming to this theater for decades. When he saw the sign on the window that the theater had been permanently closed, he was hurt.
And we saw the other day it was people up here. So I come to get our tickets today for Friday's show, and I see it's closed now with no warning or nothing. What we gonna do? They closing everything around here.
For Kamaria Love, the Chatham Theater is nostalgic.
I grew up around this neighborhood. This was the first place, like when me and my friends want to go outside, this was the first place we thought of.
The theater closed at the beginning of the pandemic and reopened in 2021 after being purchased by Imagine Entertainment. But Tuesday, the theater would face yet another closure, now leaving the South Side with just 2 movie theaters.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Chicago. You know, the city that you're not supposed to talk about if you're not from Chicago, according to woke Mayor Brandon Johnson. And the reason why he doesn't want anybody talking about Chicago is because he does not want the national news media talking about how much of a joke his city has become, or well, really still is, because it was a joke before he was elected mayor, but it's become even more of a joke after he was elected mayor. He doesn't want the national media to see his progressive utopia be run into the ground. And that's exactly what's happening to Chicago, because ever since this guy became mayor, it has gotten much worse, which was kind of hard to imagine Chicago getting much worse than it was under Lori Lightfoot. But yeah, it's getting a whole lot worse in Chicago, okay, as his latest policy decision in regards to ending the ShotSpotter gunshot detection system is backfiring, okay? Now, I did a video about this yesterday. To make a long story short, ShotSpotter is a gunshot detection system that is designed to help 911 and police identify shootings and to respond to them, because they have a no snitching policy in the hood, okay? So if somebody gets shot, a lot of times 911 is not called, and the ShotSpotter system detects gunshots so that 911 and police can be alerted and they can respond to the gunshot, just in case somebody has actually been shot, and to potentially save lives and to solve crimes. Now, woke Mayor Brandon Johnson on the campaign trail made the promise to end ShotSpotter because, of course, ShotSpotter is racist, okay? Anything that helps police fight crime, aka lock up black people who are committing crimes, is racist according to the woke revolutionaries. Brandon Johnson is a woke revolutionary, so of course he believes this, and he said, hey, I'm going to end ShotSpotter. And this is exactly what he did, except he is waiting until after the DNC comes into town, the Democratic National Convention comes into town, to end ShotSpotter. However, there's one problem, okay? He basically abruptly ended the program without renewing the contract and announced it to the public, saying that, hey, well, we're ending the program now, but we actually going to keep it until after the DNC. And ShotSpotter has come out and said, no, that's not how this works. You're not going to be able to keep this system until after the DNC. Take a look.
On Tuesday, Mayor Brandon Johnson said he would give the technology company a 6-month extension, but end the deal after the Democratic National Convention.
Now, late today, multiple sources tell NBC5 ShotSpotter has rejected the city's offer with that extension. So where does it all stand? Let's go to our political reporter, Marianne Ahern. She's joining us now with the very latest. Marianne?
Allison and Stefan, busy afternoon. City Hall has not responded to our repeated calls today. However, several aldermen have spoken with those tied to Sound Thinking, the company that now owns ShotSpotter. Those aldermen are concerned the company will turn off the technology Friday since there's no deal in place. ShotSpotter alerts police departments to gunshots fired through acoustic sensors. That company took a stock hit Tuesday after Mayor Brandon Johnson announced he would fulfill a campaign promise and give the company a 6-month extension, but then not renew their deal. The mayor's announcement before he had a deal signed with the company.
The city has lost all its leverage when you make an announcement that you're canceling ShotSpotter and extending it until September without having a signed contract.
Likewise, Alderman Chris Taliaferro is also concerned.
It is a great loss for the city of Chicago, particularly as we prepare to go into the summer months And as we go into a Democratic National Convention, already with a police department that is undersized by at least 2,000 officers.
When I've had conversations with those who operate and run ShotSpotter, from the very beginning, we were clear about what I've already announced. That is still in place. What I said and what we're doing, what I've been absolutely clear about. Providing this extension in this runway, it provides our law enforcement with time to move away from a system that they've relied upon for a very long time. And I believe that's a sensitive, right thing to do.
Mayor Johnson announced Tuesday that ShotSpotter, which is a gunfire alert detection system used in the city since 2018, would be ending. Well, the contract with Sound Thinking, again, expires tomorrow. Mayor Johnson said the technology would not be decommissioned until September 22nd, after the Democratic National Convention. Now, according to some city aldermen behind the scenes, there is word that Sound Thinking may not agree to this extension, turning the service off tomorrow night when this contract expires. While some worry about an increase in gun violence, others have criticized the technology, saying that it leads to over-policing of marginalized communities. A study found that police deployments to alerts don't result in any evidence of a gun crime nearly 90% of the time. We also had a chance today to hear from some aldermen on this issue as well.
I don't think we've ever talked about what the city wants to get out of technology and what ShotSpotter actually did or didn't do. It wasn't reducing violence. It doesn't reduce violence. Is there a conversation to be had about improving response times? Yes.
In this case, the mayor said that he was going to cancel ShotSpotter, thinking that he had them locked in for several months, and didn't. And they returned the favor in kind by saying, then we're done at the end of this week. Whether or not we're going to be able to tell them again that we're going to work in good faith, I don't think we'll be able to put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, so apparently the woke mayor, Brandon Johnson, doesn't really understand business. He tried to put the cart before the horse. He came out here and he woke virtue signal to the revolutionaries that, hey, I'm canceling the racist ShotSpotter system, okay, except until after the DNC. Now, again, it's funny how they want to keep a system that they claim is racist and is ineffective until after the DNC, right? It's funny how that works. If it's so racist and so ineffective, then why is it that you're not okay with just canceling it now? Okay, which is essentially what he tried to do initially until somebody told him that, hey, I don't know, you might want to keep this in place at least until after the Democrats come to town, right? It might not be a good idea to not have this system in place to try to detect gunshots when you have a bunch of Democrats in town. So he decided that, oh, wait, hold on. We actually really don't want to cancel it yet. Even though we demonized the system, said that it doesn't work and that it's racist, we actually want to keep it in place until after the DNC comes in town. And then ShotSpotter says, nah, that's not how it works. You can't do that, right? You can't come out here and trash our technology and then turn around and say you want to keep it just because you want it for when Democrats come to town. Because again, they want protection for Democrats, police for Democrats, but not police for anybody else. Again, this is how these politicians work. Protection for me, but not for thee. All these things that they claim don't work for so-called black folks, like this technology, like policing. They want all them things for themselves. It's amazing. This is just another example of that. But anyways, clearly and obviously, Brandon Johnson doesn't really understand business. But speaking of business, we have to talk about businesses closing in Chicago, more specifically in Southside Chicago, which has seen a massive exodus of businesses over the last few years. Most famously, Walmart has left this area, and that caused a big commotion. Now, KFC, the fried chicken joints, are leaving Southside Chicago, as 3 of them have abruptly closed due to the economic environment. So without further ado, let's get into it.
3 Southside fast food restaurants are closing their doors.
This news came abruptly. It shocked area residents. It's left them concerned about the future of the local economy. Casey Crone is live with the latest. Casey.
Don and Scott, all 3 KFC restaurants are owned by the same franchisee. The move comes as a disappointment to neighbors and also one local alderman who tells me he was blindsided by those closures. The restaurants are located at 83rd and King Drive in Chatham, where renovations have been underway for several months. Now progress has stopped, the windows and doors boarded up. Also in Grand Crossing, the KFC at 75th and Lafayette will no longer serve customers, and in Bronzeville, the chain at 35th and Calumet has been shuttered. This comes less than 1 month after the movie theater Cinema Chatham shut down. 6th Ward Alderman William Hall tells me these closures are a loss for the community, leaving employees out of work and corners vacant.
Yeah, so before we get into this, I want you guys to understand, they lost Walmart. Walmart claims that they're leaving because it's not economically viable, aka too much theft. Okay, too much theft, too much shoplifting, too much crime in the area. They was like, hey, we got to get up and go, right? We can't operate. Now, the woke revolutionaries came out here and cried racism and said that it's racist that Walmart is leaving, okay? Even though, you know, Walmart is operating at a loss. The woke revolutionaries expect these businesses to operate at a loss just to provide jobs in these communities. But they don't understand that that's not how business or economics works. You can't just operate into perpetuity running a loss on your business. So now you have movie theaters closing up. This historic movie theater in Southside Chicago, gone. And then you have 3 KFCs gone. Now, again, what do you think is happening here? Right? Everybody knows what's happening here. These neighborhoods are so crime-ridden that these businesses, even if you're a restaurant, movie theater, they can't operate at a profit. They can't turn a profit. The money's drying up because businesses are leaving due to crime, which means that jobs are leaving, opportunities are leaving. And this is why I try to tell the woke revolutionaries. Doesn't matter how much money you pour into a neighborhood. If your neighborhood is not business friendly, if the crime and destruction and the chaos is too high for a business to operate, they're going to leave. And when the businesses leave, then the money will leave. And then more businesses will leave. Okay, it's a domino effect. It only gets worse and worse and worse. And that's what you're seeing happening in these liberal cities. These businesses are leaving. And at the same time, the mainstream liberal media is trying to gaslight the American people into believing that the economy is great. Oh, the economy is great. Well, if the economy is so great, then why are all these businesses leaving? Either the economy is not great or crime and destruction is just so out of control in these liberal cities that they're having to close despite the great economy, right? I'm just saying, you can't say that the crime's not out of control and that the economy is great, but yet you have all these business closures. If crime is not out of control and the economy is great, then you shouldn't have this. So the mainstream liberal media is lying, right? Somebody's lying. I think that crime is out of control and the economy is not that great. That's what I believe. And that's why you're seeing this.
Well, to the entire 6th Ward, my frustration is your frustration. We share the same frustration. I live here. I don't want to see abandonment. I don't want to see vacancy, just like you. Working hard with corporations. We are some challenging times, however. We're going to, again, look to the future. Hopefully we find or reimagine that corner, even if it means tearing down that KFC and building a new business. But we're not going to stop until that vacancy is filled.
A spokesperson with KFC tells us the closures came, quote, as a normal course of business, adding, while this is always a difficult decision, we appreciate the patronage of our loyal guests.
Now, a lot of these companies can't come out here and tell you the real truth. They can't get into the details of why they're leaving. They can't say, well, crime is out of control. It's not safe enough for us to actually operate because they will be accused of racism. The woke revolutionaries will come out here and protest and call them racist if they come out here and give the real reason. So what you're saying is that you have a lot of these stores that are closing down in these neighborhoods and they're giving very vague reasons for why they're leaving instead of telling the truth because they don't want to be accused of racism. Okay, this is what's happening.
This Thursday, Alderman Hall is hosting a job fair at Hamilton Park with other nearby businesses. It will kick off at 9 a.m. All are welcome to attend, and he says some spots will be filled right there on the spot. Reporting live downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Hey, this is a good time for these black entrepreneurs to get out here and start a fried chicken business, right? 3 KFCs left. Southside, hey, this is a great time to open up a black-owned business. This is everything you guys said you wanted, right? You want all this opportunity, here you go. Brandon Johnson claims that he's putting all this money into the communities, right? He's invested into the communities. So we should have plenty of black entrepreneurs in these neighborhoods that are going to start their own Walmart. They're going to start their own movie theater. They're going to start their own chicken joint, right? We should be seeing black businesses blossoming in Chicago, according to woke Mayor Brandon Johnson, and all the crime should go away, right? This is what he claims will happen. Now, we'll see. I got my doubts. I don't think that's going to happen, right? I think that what's going to happen is that Chicago, at least that South Side area, is going to turn into no man's land, okay? There aren't going to be any businesses there. There aren't going to be any jobs there. And the crime and destruction is only going to get worse because there's going to be more poverty. That's exactly what's about to happen. All the jobs are going to leave. And then you're not going to have these magical black businesses that pop up, because even for the black businesses or the so-called black businesses, it's going to be too chaotic and crime-ridden to operate at a profit. Again, you have to clean up the crime before you invest a bunch of money into these communities. Okay? You can't put the cart before the horse. Stop the crime, and then you can invest. But until you deal with the crime, until you get tough on the criminals, you're not going to see any progress in these communities. All this money that will be invested in these communities, it's going to go up in flames. It's going to go up in flames. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.